is Florian and I'm here with
Peter Müllner.
And what did you do today?
I won the Austrian National Championship today. So
yeah, we can go right into the profile if you want. We'll just show us the deck.
3 Aluba, one Ad libitum, 2 Tragedy. Yeah, that's all. We play Allure, but we decided to play 2 of those because like 3 comes up, but we also play Gold Sark, and we had problems going down to 43. And we didn't want to go up till 45, 46. So we decided to run 2. It was, even though with the triple Allure, it was pretty okay. Never had an issue. So we also played like the triple Albas stuff. So 3 Albas, pretty standard, nothing to explain here. 1 Mercuria, you want to search it out of with Lust, and 2 Albion. I was heavily into 1 Albion with 2 branded in red, but Julian and basically got fluent me to play 2 Albion with 3 branded in red because it's like the best card if you want to play through Ash, because you can set up the Albas, draw a card, and then if your branded fusion gets Ashed, you can still go into like your Mirror Jade, etc. So it was pretty good. Also, it helped me to draw into Super Poly in the final game of the day, in game 1, which helped me to OTK my opponent. Yeah, nothing to say. 3 Edge and Chain, you always want to have it, you want to discard it. It's better to have Edge and Chain than to have Patchwork because you can trigger the chain most of the time anyway. Yeah, 1 Snow. Basically, the best light target help you to survive is it's like might be not better than Ecclesia in the mirror match, but it's more versatile. Also, it helps you again in every other matchup that you play. Yeah, 1 Gold Sarcophagus. I think it's pretty standard nowadays. Was a card that I sided out kind of often. I used to side out this and this because the side ratios in this deck are really awkward because you don't have a lot of cards to side out, and the reason why I will get to it later. 3 Allure, I think nothing to say here. Broken card, play this or you are bad. 3 Super Poly, nothing to say. 3 Fusion, 3 Opening, as already mentioned. 3 branded in red. It's like was super good the entire weekend. Also happened to cross out my the branded in red of my opponent, and allowed me like to have still 2 pushes more than him. 1 like fake branded Lust. 2 Patchworks and 2 Poly. We figured out that having like the chain and is better than having Patchwork. Also, if you play 3, it happens that you activate Patchwork, discard this or get it to the grave with some other way, and then you end up having dead Patchworks along the games.
The reason why having this instead of Patchwork is better because if you go on your first turn and you pitch the G.Y.M chain and you get a Patchwork, you basically search for another G.Y.M chain and for a polymerization. So you have a Poly in hand and the dead G.Y.M chain. Whereas if you start with this, you pitch the chain and then you have instead a dead Patchwork in hand. Yep. But it's much better to have a monster that you can fuse off into Chimera.
Yes, basically. And also I think like the spice we played is like 3 cross out because we want to have the advantage when going second and going first in the mirror match with like the best hand trap target and the hand trap target that Julian told me to play. I wanted to play Impermanence instead, and it also like would have come up more often, but I don't really know if it would have made a difference. Was fine. Sometimes I happened to draw Ash and I could use it. It was pretty broken.
Normally the people try to save their Impermanence for Lubellion. But then when you get to Lubellion, you pretty much played already because you just fused with something with branded fusion, and then you typically don't really care because you have access to branded in red or something, so you can still keep going. And DD Crow is a problem because if they're on their turn and they are able to crow your branded in red, your turns and your follow-up becomes so much worse that it's much better to just cross out the DD Crow.
Also, like we played 3 branded in red, it means if they impermanence you and you happen to hard crew this, you can just dodge the impermanence, summon something else, and basically they get -1 and hand loop themselves. And the final card is Called by the Grave. Unfair card. Actually lost the game because of my opponent Druid.
It should definitely be banned.
Should be banned or three, one of those. Go through the extra deck. Nothing special here. 2 Mirror Jade, 2 Lubellion. You might cut this to 1. I like the 2. Had some grind games with where the second came up. 3 Albion, definitely play this at 3. This came up to search the McCurry to seal the deal, or fetch the. Also, you need a second one of those dragons to send with Mirror Jade, so you don't have to send to Albion and basically miss an effect. 2 Chimera standard, Stragos Stapelia, Masquerades, Querities, and the extra deck card that actually won me the first game in the final was the Starving Venom. I had to play against Mind Striker in the final, and like we had a 30-minute long game 1, and basically I won the game because he had to go into access code, and I happened to get an allure in my hands and fetch for the super poly, dig for it, and basically I had the chance to super poly his access code and a remaining dark monster, make this and OTK with it. So came only up 1 time, but it won me the final. And for the side deck, 3 Twin Twister because we're playing Austrian Nats. 1 Comedy never came up. Basically should have sided in it against Striker, forgot it because I already sided so many other cards. 3D Barrier, nothing to say about it. If you play less, you're a dump. 1 Banishment, it's broken. 1 Reboot, this comes into the same category, but also we decided to side this in going second in the mirror match because we were super afraid of losing to D-Barrier and Banishment. And like if it happens that you draw this and they D-Barrier or Banishment here, you get the chance to win the game. 3 Nips. They were super good in the matchups against Sword Soul because they tend to disrespect it game 2 and 3. And I won like the top 60 match. I won because I went second, broke my opponent's board and drew with Chimera into a nip, and he disrespected it, went for 5 or 6 summons and lost the game from there on. And then the final 3 cards has to be a Floodgate, I guess. It's we decided there can be only 1 because I was heavily propagating the zombie world, but Florian and Julian told me that it's only really good against Full Honor, which I still disagree with. And we came to the conclusion this is probably the second best or the best Floodgate that you can run as Despia against the most decks in the meta. Yeah, that's it.
Very nice. Do you still have any shoutouts to give?
Huge shoutout to Team G.Y.M, to Florian and Julian for playtesting with me, and basically Julian because he built the main deck. Also, huge shout out to my girlfriend that basically took care of everything else besides playtesting. And also, basically, I want to designate the win to my grandmother who died away last Thursday. Yeah. Which was a huge moral buff for me because, yeah, I had to win an event, and she also always told me that I should finally come home and win a fucking event. Yeah.
Nice.
All right, so thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.